I'll concede your point just for brevity. But
What? Brevity? We don't do that around here. It's probably
No.
citrus, or what is a Capital One ball? It used to be Citrus Bowl, right? Yeah,
oh my
Capital
God,
One.
dude, where have you been?
I just like the real name.
It hasn't been the Citrus Bowl since like what 2002?
What was your highlight side dish from Thanksgiving?
Oh gosh, Scotch.
This is the Buck Around, the podcast devoted to all things Wisconsin Badger football from a fan perspective. Featuring your hosts, Richard Branch and Maxwell Brusky.
And hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Buck Around. Welcome back to episode 363 of the Buck Around. I am Richard Half, one half of said Buck Around, and I am joined today by my resigned colleague, Maxwell Brusky. Max, there is excitement in the air to discuss a 14-point defeat to Michigan, right? There's juice.
I don't know what kind of juice. Orange. It's not the Popeye kind. Did you just call yourself Richard Half?
I am the one half of the Buck Around, Richard Branch.
Okay.
What I say
thought
every single
I thought I heard
episode?
Richard Half.
Oh,
You said I'm resigned. You're Richard Half.
I think you're not detail oriented, colleague. I mean, I'll go back and listen once we're done here.
No, I
but
think you leave it because if I'm resigned, you're Half.
Rich from the future here. Turns out Max was right. We're leaving it. Anyways, let's go back in time through our time machine, go back to the show. All right, bye. Because that's literally what I say
That's a great start.
every week. That's what I say.
Oh gosh.
Well, you know what?
That's so funny. Yeah.
You know why we have problems? I don't have my pen out at the ready.
No.
I need to get a pen out for my notes for edit spots. I mean, like, this is a sign that we're not on our A game here.
You're Half.
I'm half. We're reflective of the football team we discuss.
Yeah, then that's what I was just going to say. It's a perfect transition. I don't feel like they are like the team is resigned, but I think most of their fans are.
Well, I mean, from as we were talking about before we hit the button, I think the talk around is a good indication of that. Not a lot of thoughts this week. We have a long rambling one from Ryan in Seattle, Mr. Go Football himself. Who I wonder if you're married yet, Ryan. You didn't mention that in the voicemail. You might have mentioned it in the refer to your partner. I don't know if you said fiance or wife, but if you are married by now, I think you mentioned you were engaged. Like, this is what we're talking about now. Like, we're doing wedding announcements.
What we're down to, yeah.
For
talking
listeners.
about how Travis's haiku didn't get transcribed properly.
We're into the parasocial relationships with our fellow Badger fans.
Parasocial, yes.
Like, we got nothing.
That's a word I never thought I'd heard. Now it's perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, should we just get into this game?
Yeah. Well, you in our agenda, I saw it in text form, and it was it's small when it shows up, and I got to zoom it out a little bit, and it was a tweet, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't even realize that was the tweet because it really talking about the opening drive.
Yeah.
And I know I turned the game on, and I just telling my wife it's my score prediction, like 48-3. And that opening drive, I think I texted you, and somebody texted me, and my response to everybody was, "I'm floored." And my wife was like, "What is going on?" I couldn't believe it. I was as floored as I was in a bad way for all the things I've seen over the past 2 seasons. And then I'm equally floored when they get the ball back and Michigan went down the field in 5 plays?
Yes.
Okay, I know we're going to talk about that a little bit. And Danny O'Neal comes out on the first snap of the second drive.
Was it the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell is this? Like after that thing was brilliant.
It was brilliant. All right, this is where we get to first off, this is
All
where we
right.
diverge.
I love it. Yeah, it's
This
brilliant.
is where we diverge.
It's certainly brilliant compared to anything else.
I have a question for you. Got to keep this
Okay.
interesting again.
Okay.
If we're going to talk about
Okay.
another bad stuff. Have you ever heard of the ship, the Lyubov or Lova? It was this ship that was built in the Soviet Union.
Mhm.
And what was unique about it was it had an ice strengthened hull.
Okay.
And so it got used by cruise companies in the Arctic and the Antarctic. So
Sure.
it was like an expedition. They'd use it up in Canada, down
Yeah, like the Alaska ones.
down in
Yeah.
Antarctica in the austral summer. But it kind of fell into disrepair and eventually got deserted. And the owner sort of was like, I don't want to deal with it. And Canada's like, you got to deal with this thing. It's rusting on our pier.
Sure.
And so finally somebody said, all right, well, I'm going to take it and I'm going to go. I'm going somewhere with this, by the way. I'm going to take this and I'm going to cut it up. And this tugboat starts pulling it out of the harbor. And then like halfway across the Atlantic Ocean, because they cut these things up somewhere, who the hell knows where, the tow line breaks and they lose it. And it becomes a ghost ship that's floating around the Atlantic for like years, right? I think it's like 2 years. And finally it gets found. And the thing they found was that the ship had turned into, there were rats living on it. But what was happening was the rats, because they ran out of food on the ship, started eating each other. And they started
which often
cannibalizing.
happens with mammals and rodents when they run out of food.
And so you had this hellscape ship that was this abandoned ship of cannibal rats that was eventually found, and people were horrified. That's sort of what's happening with the Badgers right now.
That's a terrible
because
image.
people are turning on each other. And I am here. Like, we need something interesting. I am here to start a war with a major media member in Jim Polzin for his tweet. And you, for the matter, because you two are agreeing. So war is declared on you and war is declared on Jim by me, just to be clear.
Well, I will happily take up arms because that was the best thing I've seen out of this team for a 5-minute stretch in a long time.
So I am going to, when we post the show, I am going to milk this thing for everything it's worth. We got to find something interesting to talk about. So let's just start a media war. So Jim, you're on notice. It's on. Like, if we're gonna make it the rest of the way through this stupid football season, it's gonna be a war, and I've picked you. So Jim's tweet was similar to your thought, right? This was right after the opening drive. They go 12 plays, as he mentions in his tweet. He says, that looked how Wisconsin football is supposed to look like. 12 plays, 75 yards, 6 minutes, 50 seconds off the clock. A touchdown on the opening drive. 9 runs, 3 passes, no negative plays. Sort of what you're saying.
Jim is my ally in this war.
He is. You are Churchill and he is FDR, or whichever one you want to be. Or you could be Stalin. I mean, it'll be a little weird to pick Stalin, but you could be Stalin. And so I watched that drive and you texted me. You're like, that's something. And
that's actually what I said. Yes,
you did.
That's something.
And my response, which I stand by,
which is kind of ambivalent, isn't it?
Yeah. But I watched it and I was like, well, they scored, but I'm like, no, that's not what they want to do. Like, they can't go 5 yards at a time. Because if you watch that drive and then watch the rest of the game, right after that drive, Michigan was like, oh, we really don't need to sit in a base. We'll just put 8 or 9 in the box because they can't throw. And the offense, yes, they scored. How did they score? They had, I think, 2 plays over 10 yards on that drive. They had a 12-yard pass to Chris Brooks. And then you had the 17-yard pass to Vinny Anthony, which is what they were throwing to Vinny Anthony all day, which is the 5-yard out. And then he just turned it into he made a great play. Oh, no, that was the bubble screen, I believe. And he made a great play. Like, he made a defender miss, and it was all Vinny Anthony. Yeah. And I said to myself, that is not sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable.
Yeah, and that was exactly your response.
Yeah. And so, like, the thing was, and Fickle said it in the post game, because they said, he talked about the game. He said, you know what? Our problem is we have no explosives. And they don't. They had no explosive plays. And yes, they ground down the field on that drive, but you can't do that anymore. That is not, again, I'm not really picking a fight with Jim, but my point is that's not actually how Wisconsin football is supposed to look. Wisconsin football is actually supposed to look like what Michigan did on the next possession. It's supposed to go 75 yards, but it should do it in 5 plays. Like they're looking for a chunk play because you cannot, just the way football is, you cannot grind down the field anymore. And like you're not going to have those. Like that's not sustainable, I think is the point, especially given where there's talent differential. Like you're just not going to grind. Like you can't do 12 play drives every possession. It's simply not sustainable and not doable. And that's what we saw there, because after that drive, it's just punt. I mean, they punted the ball 9 times in the game. Right?
Yeah, it was bookended with TD, 9 punts, and FG.
And FG.
My first reaction when I read your response to my text was, "Who cares?" Like, yeah, no, I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. But I'm glad you expanded on that point because you're right. Like, it's supposed to look like Michigan's drive did, which if you go back to the 2019 game against Michigan, that's what it looked like.
Right.
It was Jonathan Taylor had like 3 40-yard runs and 1 65-yard touchdown. Right? It was chunk plays.
It's chunk plays, but yeah, I don't remember the specifics, but yes, it's when you have
But
explosives.
it wasn't grind down the field and have a 28-0 halftime lead by 10, 15 play drives. It wasn't like that. No, it was Jonathan Taylor getting a hole and hitting a home run from, 40, 50, 60 yards out.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to know where Fickell wanted the team to be or what his vision is, it's not far from what Michigan looks like right now. Because I know the hype and all of that. Like Bryce Underwood is, I mean, I get number 1 recruit in the country and he's a true freshman, so he'll get better, but like he's not anything amazing. He can throw a ball downfield, but I mean, he's not
a lot of drop. There was a lot of drops. Too, but whatever.
But he's also not carrying a team, is my point. Right? No, this is an offense that has a balance to it, to exactly what you said. I mean, if they didn't drop as many balls as they dropped, that game would have been a lot more lopsided. Mm-hmm. Also, on the other side of the ball, quite frankly, I mean, I'm jumping ahead, but
that's okay.
Hunter Simmons got lucky that game, especially if you rewatch it. He had 2 more passes that really could have been picked that didn't. That he kind of, you're like, oh, I mean, one of those was a jumped. I forget if it was a play action one where, they do the leak out with the guard or with the tackle, or if it was just a little bubble, but that really should have been picked and gone the other way.
Yeah.
But
you've seen that a lot, no matter who's playing quarterback, is that play, which is obviously a staple of Grimes' playbook. That's not a secret. And I don't know, I feel like it's good if they try it too many more times, they're not going to get lucky. And so many of those passes, to your point, like they go so far across the field and not down the field, across the field. And it's like, you feel like there's so much time for a competent defender. I think if Michigan had the same cornerbacks they've had for the last couple of years, there would have been a couple pick sixes.
Yeah. And to your point, they are lateral throws that it's not like Hunter Simmons has a huge arm. I mean, he demonstrated that on the interception. I mean, the interception is just because he underthrew. He couldn't get the ball there.
You mean the interception with blatant pass interference?
Fine. I mean, that's fine.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. No. But you're not. I mean, sure. I mean, it's fine to complain about it if people want to. That goes under my. I don't think you need to worry about that at this stage. Let's worry about that in the football 325. I think this team is still at football 101 or 201. So let's not worry about that as fans. But
it's not upper division.
No, like this, the ball was just blatantly underthrown. Or even the Vinny Anthony, the one that he had to Vinny Anthony that went 27 yards should have been 6. I mean, if that ball is placed better.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Even on the interception, there were 3 guys there, but he had them all beat.
Yeah, it's tough. So it leads me into my thing with playing Hunter Simmons. I was trying to figure out, I get their logic in playing him was, hey, this guy he's a little less like he's going to be a little more sound decision making, right? That's kind of the premise. And on that first drive, 3 for 3, 36 yards, 12 yards an attempt, right? After that, it's 5.4. Like you're in Braden Locke territory. 141 yards on 26 attempts after the first drive. And that still includes, I mean, he was, I think, 5 for 5. And then you sort of saw it drop from there.
Yeah.
And it's like after the game, when they're so certain, like, oh yeah, that's it. And I don't know at this point. Like I get eliminating Danny O'Neill's YOLO aspect and his like, I'm gonna throw an interception into the chest of the defensive back, but I don't know that playing Hunter, like I guess it makes the offense more predictable, but I don't know that it makes it any better.
Well, it's more it's on script, right? Or
if you want schedule,
or
maybe
on schedule. I think that was the point that they were making.
But I don't know if that helps. Like I truly think if one of those, if that little pass gets picked and it goes back for 6, I think the discussion they're having is very different. Like if he has 2 picks and one of them is a pick 6, like I feel like the discussion is different. And I feel like for a coach that shouldn't make a difference. Like the execution of the defender should have nothing to do with it. And so he knows that. Like they see that film and they're still like, oh, I still think that's a better option.
Well, it's funny too, because if you want like as a backup quarterback, just as a straight backup who's going to finish a game when the starter goes out.
Yeah.
Or, maybe even start a game or two. I think Hunter Simmons fits that mold pretty well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's the prototype.
As far as the game management aspect goes, yeah, those, it's solid. But here you are again for the 3rd year in a row watching a backup quarterback of some variety. You probably say the same thing about Braden Locke even too. Like as a backup to finish a game if the starter goes down and for a game or two. Yeah, probably okay. But here's the other thing too is that for as long as you said I talk about on schedule or on script. I mean, how much film do you need to know what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean O'Neill gives you a little bit more of that, but I mean he's got enough of his unpredictability on film that if you put him in some kind of position, he's probably gonna throw an interception at some point in time.
Yeah, I guess my thought with the two of them is I feel they're very different, but they're both imperfect products, right?
Oh, yeah.
And is it just do they net out at 0?
Aren't we all rich?
Not me. I mean, look at this charming Adonis-like creature you get to do this show with every week. But who hasn't shaved or showered yet?
Yeah, I haven't either. You're good.
Okay, good.
Well, you're talking about them being imperfect products, and they're not the starter, and they're not. It's
well, no. I guess my point is like they each bring different negatives. Like Hunter Simmons can't throw the ball downfield and can't run, and can sort of looks like he's willing to throw a bad pick. Danny O'Neill can throw the ball downfield, but not necessarily accurately. Can run, but then we'll just throw really stupid picks, like no pressure on him picks, right? And so you're like, which one is a better fit for where this offense is at? And I don't get, like when you're playing the guy who was brought in, I mean, why was Hunter Simmons brought in? He had a prior relationship with the wide receiver coach, whose name I can't think of right now, the assistant guy. And it was basically like he will cause no issues in the locker room. And we don't have to pay him anything. That's what it was. I mean, that's all. And all he was done was he was brought in so Carter Smith could stay on the scout team.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That was his role. And now he's starting against Michigan. And you're like, this is the plan. Like, again, it's not so much.
It's the plan for that day. Right?
And apparently going forward.
I mean, it's plan B, plan C. But yeah, I mean, yeah. And apparently going forward. No problem. But I mean, 3rd year in a row here. And we're talking about backup quarterbacks. And do you think if they had a Hunter Simmons last year, they just didn't have that? And if you watched any of, it's kind of crazy. I don't know when it was. I think it was Friday night. It was Friday night. The next game that came on was Sam Houston State, and it's maybe Matoyer, you know, and all of last year, Matoyer wasn't ready, and he's not that good. Um, you know, but this is the same thing you're dealing with last year. It's just that they have a Hunter Simmons to go to, and for whatever reason, they want to keep Carter Smith out of the fire. Did you make anything out of the fact that he didn't travel?
I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
I guess my whole thought on that, or sorry, not even on that, but on Hunter Simmons is more like the other way to look at it is Dylan Jones, right?
Yeah.
7 carries for 50 yards on the opening drive.
Which is why it was brilliant, by the way.
Do you know what he did the rest of the way?
Was it 13 on 10? Yeah. Well, the offense looked like just like it's looked like for the past 3 years.
Yeah, but why? It's just because they brought the box. They just they put 9 guys in the box. I mean, there's not much to it, and I feel like every team isn't going to even give them that opening because you've seen Hunter Simmons can't beat you over the top. So I don't quite know if it's going to work. We'll see. Sure. So they got to find a way to get explosive. I mean, if Fickle did say, I mean, he said it in the post game. This offense does not create explosive plays, and we have to find a way. And I don't know how they're gonna find it. I guess there was stability, and I think maybe the other part to segue into the next piece is Davis Heinsohn, I guess, is the backup center.
Yeah, but I mean, part of the regular segment, I'm just going to spill the beans because it's that kind of episode. But he would be my under the radar player of the game because the only negative play that was on that first drive was, if I recall, it was the one bad snap that he had.
He had one bad snap there,
yeah.
And
in the bad snap on the first drive, that play still went for a first down.
Yeah. Hunter Simmons just quickly reacted, like in a good way.
Yeah. And I'm not, I mean, again, this is where we are, but I thought that was pretty fascinating that, to your point, he hadn't seen the field and, clearly wasn't the answer at left tackle. I mean, he had never played center before. I think it was something like, yeah, he did it a couple times in high school or in a practice, not in the game even. And at least he could snap the ball.
And I mean, like, it looks like he hasn't done it since high school. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he was like he's holding the ball all funky. And
that's weird to me. Why? Some offensive line person needs to comment on that.
Colton wrote it up. I mean, it's like basically like an old fashioned way to snap the football. I think it's just how to simplify it so you don't snap it too high or something. He mentioned.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Okay.
But
did Colton have something on that?
He did.
Oh, he did. Okay.
I will say this. To your point, like, I'll give the guy a lot of credit that he did it. You know what I mean? Like, you think that he might check out after just basically getting humiliated and benched in week 1.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, the struggle I have is this guy was a tackle at Central Michigan, and they moved him inside there because he couldn't play outside. And I am now struggling with why he was at left tackle I don't understand how he didn't end up on the interior line, and like it took them 6 games to get here, right? Or 5 games, excuse me, to get here. Like, why did this take you 5 more games to just end up at the same place where he was before, with people who coached him for multiple years, recognized like, okay, this guy is not an edge guy and he needs to be inside. Like, my assumption is whenever Renfro comes back, and who knows, just slide him. He's going to slide to guard. Like, he's going to push Kadanko off the field because he's not getting false starts. It was interesting. It looked like he was actually, doing like calling out the mic and all that stuff. Whereas in the past with the freshmen playing, That was
Coverly?
Brunner. Yeah.
Mhm.
With Coverly, it was Brunner doing it. And now it was like, okay, Heinzen can handle this because like he's done enough. So it's sort of like, okay, why isn't he just slot him over when Renfro comes back? Because at least he wasn't great. There were some
Yeah.
moments,
Yeah.
but at least it was stable-ish.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a victory at this
That's what I
point.
said. Here, this is where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, we know he's not Travis Frederick.
Did you have anything else you want to cover on the game before we get to Fickle and timeouts?
I think one of my overall comments is like if this was, with like a 2016 to, but like the height of the Paul Christ era team, this would have been a pretty good game.
Oh, I think they probably would have won it with a good number.
Yeah, which is to say, Michigan's good, but they're not. This isn't like the last 3 years, Michigan. I would say I just shouldn't even say last year because Michigan didn't even have a quarterback for most of the year. I think they had 5. They had their quarterback position looked like Wisconsin's this year, but you know what I mean. Like this wasn't. This is it's a good Michigan team and enough to go on the road and beat year 3 Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, it's a team with a good defense and they can run the ball. And then the rest of it is kind of like fill in the blanks and hope you have superior talent to beat the other team.
Right. And it's not where they're going to have like the last couple of years where they've had 10 plus. Well, I think they had 13 players drafted, I think, last year's team. Like they're definitely pro guys out there. And probably even Bryce Underwood someday. But I mean, it's not loaded like it has been.
Agreed. I mean, this is you know what it is? It's when you see them ranked 20, that feels right. That's the way I would describe it.
Yeah.
And the depressing thing is they're not even in sniffing distance of a team that's ranked 20.
Well, and kind of like you said before, like this is what Wisconsin wants to look like.
Yeah.
And in the good Paul Christ years, this is about where they were. The defense probably better, but there's a Justice Haynes, and they're probably not.
Yep.
So yeah, it was interesting. That'd probably be my comment because in a Wisconsin Michigan game, those used to be pretty fun ones.
Yeah.
And certainly going into this, like I said, I didn't see anybody that was picking them any closer than certainly not to beat the spread, which was funny because the people that I talked to, I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like they haven't beat a spread in like the last 10 games. And this is when they lose this, it'll be the 8th game in a row in conference that they've lost.
I mean, they haven't beaten a Power 4 opponent in 51 weeks.
Yeah, calendar year.
Well, that'll be next week. So the timeouts.
Pathetic, by the way.
Let's talk about the timeouts.
I think it's overblown at the time. And I was watching the end of the game. Like, I didn't even notice. I was kind of surprised that there was, because I was kind of surprised that they just weren't playing to score a touchdown. I felt like, and on that drive, the Grant Steck one-handed catch on 4th down, I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool. Maybe there's something, maybe they can just go down and score a touchdown and, at least look respectable. But the timeouts, I didn't even know that until after I'm checking Twitter to see what the comments are at the end of the game. And then I saw this just like tweet storm of timeouts. Like I didn't even notice.
I guess my thought, okay, it's interesting. You and I are kind of aligned. I don't care. Like this is deck chairs and Titanic issues. Who
it really is.
cares? Like they got way bigger issues. You're in the downward spiral. I really do. Nothing is shaking me from my thoughts last week. Doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter. Don't even don't waste your anger on it. They're not winning anything in this stretch. They're winning 1 or 2 games, maybe the rest of the way. So worrying about Fickle's timeouts and him surrendering.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all until people started saying that, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's interesting.
Well, no, I got it.
I don't know how much of is it a narrative thing of giving up on them? I don't know.
That's what people view it as. Because I mean, here's what it was.
Yeah,
right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did you not agree with it? But did you see that?
So I was thinking it through. Right, you try the onside, you fail. They get the ball with 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Theoretically, if you take 3 timeouts, You get the ball back with, minute 55 if you stop him,
Yeah,
which they
you're right.
didn't. Fickell's argument was I was keeping my timeouts if we got the stop, right? Because I needed him on offense, which might be fair because they can't throw the ball down.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
I don't know, but I'm not defending him.
Let's
but
think
who cares?
about that. If you can't throw the ball downfield, you're not going to get to stop the clock when you miss a pass. Yeah. No, I know. No. And I don't, that's right. What's your ship again?
The Lyubov or Lova.
I just felt like it was kind of more of that. Like,
well, I was about to say it was just people are mad and they need something.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just didn't see it. I don't know. I mean, in retrospect, I guess, but all I could think of too is just like, yeah, that's great if you have like Ole Miss's offense. Like, okay. Really?
Yeah.
Really? Really?
I mean, I just looked at it as okay. Like, do you think they were going to score 14 points? Everyone's like, well, it's not the issue. I'm like, it is the issue. Like, if they could score 14 points, this would be different. And get mad at it and say he gave up, and that's totally fine. But that's what it is. It is funny to me because in a weird way, like, again, I don't want this because I will start getting eaten by the cannibal rats because of how I think this is going to be received.
Well, we're already in war, so.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. Jim, we're at war.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
But this one actually isn't directed at Jim. This is more our audience of cannibal rats attacking me.
Well, that's why I'm saying in for a penny, in for a pound.
If you were to argue Fickell does something he does well, I do think he has done a good job over the course of his time at Wisconsin, where when he gets against these big time, superior talent teams, he can get them into this like grindhouse game. I don't know what word to use for it, but where he tries to box the game up and just make it a lot of like, that's me hitting my knuckles against each other, if you can hear that. Just where the teams are kind of bashing each other's heads in a way that I know Chris wanted, but he couldn't seem to do. Like, if you look back at like 2022 Ohio State.
It was 35-0 in halftime, and I don't think Ohio State had to play longer than 4 drives.
Yeah, or
a drive longer than 4 plays.
Yeah, I know. It's just, yeah. And it's like, he has had this talent of creating these like old schooly, like, I mean, think about it. What was it? He played at Ohio State in the early 90s, which was not an explosive team. It was a team that pounded you into stone dust just through strength and superior talent, but they weren't going to score 55 points and have 3 play scoring drives. It's what he knows and it's what he's comfortable with. And he's trying to get to that, but he can't, he just doesn't know what to do to get there. That's his problem. He kind of got this game to look that way for a little while. It looked closer than it was for a good portion because they really like those not picks should have been breaking points in the game earlier, but they kind of punched their way through it for a little bit.
Well, and to your point too, it's like they were leading Penn State at halftime last year, right?
Right.
Were they leading Oregon at halftime?
I mean, regardless, that's that game.
But yeah, it's another one. But yeah, this was only 10-7.
Yeah.
At the half. And no, if you're on the outside looking in and it's no context and you're, from the national perspective and that sort of thing, and you don't really, on the road at Michigan, it's 10-7. So yeah, to your point. And it's the, the front 7 on defense. I mean, that still does a good job. You know what? There was no block punts.
No, there's one.
It was close. Tipped. I know. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Tipped.
Yes, you're right. There was one that got touched.
And Jackson Aker watched him go by him. I don't quite understand what that was.
You're right. At least none of that happened. So it'll be funny this week to see what happens because it's not. If Gronowski plays, he was not going to be 100%. But if he, if it's one of the 2 backup guys they have, I mean, that's not. Yeah, you're going to be in a situation where it's going to be a 10-6 kind of deal, or like the last those couple games over the last 10 years where it's very, very low scoring.
Yeah,
and I think that and if it is, And if it's into the fourth quarter and it's a 1-score game, you got a chance, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, to your point, sort of looking ahead at this, if they can kind of keep it tight, maybe they can squeeze it. Like this game, I think this game more than anything, like if they can have a fight in this game, it kind of tells you more than anything else. And it's not like a
Yeah.
moral victory, but more like, are they still in it? Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, guys like Mason Rieger had a great day. Daryl Peterson had a great day. I mean, you saw the
Yeah.
line hold up and still fight all the way through that game when that defense was clearly getting gassed because they were just on the field so much when the offense couldn't do much. And so maybe they can how much can Iowa go over the top or how much can Iowa get 50-yard runs? I don't know. So yeah, I mean, this is it. Like if you're looking for a win, this has got to be one of them. Because this is not like a great Iowa team by any stretch.
No, it's not. It's not.
So
And that's my point. And if you're in the fourth quarter in a 1-score game,
yeah.
This wacky thing happens and that wacky thing happens. And Iowa might, punting is winning and fundamentals and special teams and defense, but wacky things happen to Iowa in almost every game they play.
To wrap up our game and wrap up our look ahead as well, you mentioned your under the radar player of the game was Davis Heinsohn.
Yeah.
I'm going to the other side of the ball.
I suspected you might.
And I'll go with our Division III safety friend out there who has been pressed into a starting role with the injury of Preston
My
Zachman.
goodness, that is 2 weeks in a row for him.
Just
the last one was Ryan, not you.
Well, because here's why he did his job. Like he did his job. There was that completion over him, but his coverage was right there. I have no issue. Great catch.
It was too, and the Klatt was like, you can't have better coverage than that.
By the way, we needed break from Joel Klatt. I did that.
I'm surprised you said that because most people say they need a break from Gus.
I do. I need a break from both of them because Gus just wants to scream and Gus wants to make the game about Gus Johnson. But my issue is Joel Klatt. I don't know why Joel Klatt has this new thing where he's like, you got to give this guy time. Like you got to get it's the weirdest thing. I guess they have relationships with these coaches when he's like, you got to give, I hope they have patience with Luke Fickell and they can get some things in play. And you're like, okay. Why are you doing this? Like,
did he say that in the second half?
When they were, I think when it got to 17, I think.
Okay. Cause at the second half, I watched it in a bar basically.
Yeah.
And by that time, the Cubs and Brewers were on. That's the sound that was on. So I did not hear that.
It was very
And if I would have heard that, I would be agreeing with you because generally I like Klatt.
And it's like, why are you doing this? Like,
that's interesting.
Like the apologia thing is so weird.
Oh, that is weird
when they do this. But you're just like, and it's kind of like what's really annoying is the people he's supposedly talking to follow the team closer than you. Right? Because they're people who follow that team. And so I don't blame you for not having a full context. But like when you're saying things that don't really make, when he's like, well, they just had terrible luck on the offensive line. And you're like, dude, they're missing bodies. Like they have a bunch of dead weight that they haven't, like you don't know you don't know this part. Like if I asked you this question, you'd go, oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Like, right. That. So it just right. By doing it, you're like, come on, man. Like, I get it. Yeah. They got to fill time, but.
Yep. Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, that's
so, yeah, Matt Young gets mine. He was, he played solidly. Austin Brown has sort of moved into, it's the only bummer about Zachman's injury is they're kind of asking Brown to be more of the Zachman, and I think he's better off being what he was, which is a little closer to the line and a little more of sort of like the swing nickel / old school strong safety type.
Yeah, and he hasn't made any really, really bad plays necessarily, but I mean, you talk about an under the radar guy, he was one of the breakout players, kind of.
Took a really bad angle on one of the Michigan touchdowns.
Yeah.
But other than that, whatever. Again, sure. Not worried about it. That's not, at this point, that's not what you need to worry about.
That's where we are.
Yes, that's where we are. So I think on that note, do we wrap this, Max?
Yeah, I think so. It'll hopefully I'll see some folks. I will be up there. This will be my only time in Madison, I'm thinking, for the season. Um, I mean, I'm looking forward to it as a fun thing.
Yeah, yes, that's the way to go into this.
Yeah.
Don't look forward to the game. Look forward to the pageantry around said game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
enjoy the pageantry. Don't get upset. Like, don't get
No,
upset.
and I'm not gonna get upset if the game if Wisconsin's on the losing end of yet another Big Ten game, but it would be kind of cool if they won.
You know what? That's the new tagline for the show. It would be kind of cool if they won. Maybe we just change the name of the episode to, we usually do that sort of standardized, here's the game, here's the week in season. It would be kind of cool if they won.
Yeah.
You win.
So, let's see what happens.
All right. So I think on that note, Max, until the next time.
Okay. Until the next time.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Enjoy the conversation? Head on over to buckaroundpodcast.com to find all the ways to connect with the show, links to our Patreon page, and feeds for every major podcasting platform. We want to thank each and every one of our patrons. You make this podcast possible. This has been The Buck Around, Badger football analysis from a fan perspective.